Okay, great. Hi, how are you? I'm Mel Robbins, and this is Coffee Talk. This is a weekday broadcast where you and I get to hang out and I answer your questions. So you can write in and use the hashtag Ask Mel. Just leave it on social media. Any question about anything, relationships, confidence, your career, your business, anxiety, your kids. Anything is fair game. And today we've got a really important question that I know that a lot of you can relate to. And I'm laughing because Robin from our team is here. And I'm sorry, but you have to see this. Our cat is now completely having a love affair with Robin while Robin is trying to hold the live stream. Noodle. Okay, now he's eating my hat. Okay, this is not what we planned on happening today, but okay, it's a live broadcast. And so if you have to sort of gently nudge the cat out of the way, Robin, you know the drill. You're very good friends with Mr. Noodle, and he obviously loves you since he came over to give you a little kiss. Speaking of kisses, today's Ask Mel on Coffee Talk is a very serious topic. And it's one that is not loaded with kisses. It is loaded with a lot of hurt. If you've ever been cheated on, if you have somebody that you love who has been cheated on, this is a coffee talk that you want to watch. It's one you might want to save if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. And it is absolutely something that you should share with friends who are dealing with this issue. So this Ask Mel comes from Karen. And she wrote on Instagram, Mel, my husband cheated on me. He left and has already moved on. How can I cope and move on from the hurt? And, how many of you have been cheated on? Just put in the comments right now something like, yep, me too, or a thumbs up or a broken heart or something. How many of you have been cheated on? I'm sorry, I'm laughing again because Noodle has literally... Like I can't make this up, everybody. I mean, look at this. Look at what he's doing to Robin. All right, I'm going to move the cat because Noodle is trying to have a love affair with Robin, and I need him to get out of here while we talk about cheating. So how many of you have been cheated on? I am really, I hate saying this because this is not something that I am proud of, but in my past, I was the one that did the cheating. And I was the one that would cheat and move on. Like I would literally it was my breakup strategy. I'm not bragging about this. This is something I am deeply ashamed of. If I had known better, I would have done better. I was somebody who struggled with tremendous anxiety and debilitating self-doubt when it came to disappointing people. And I would know that I wanted to get out of a relationship and I would be terrified of breaking up with somebody. I'd also be terrified of being alone. And the anxiety would create this cycle in me where I would look for the next person before I would leave. Like it was almost like needing the safety net because I could not be alone. I was terrified to be alone. And, I think many of you know that having then done a ton of therapy, become a better person, understand my psychology and why I spent a lot of my time lying. It dates back to an incident of being molested that I only remembered when I was 27 years old. But I did call former boyfriends and apologize. I apologize for the fact that they happened to be amazing people and they happened to be with me during a time in my life where I had a lot of shit that I still needed to sort out. And so I have taken responsibility for it. I have learned from it, but I need to say that given that so many of you have been on the other side of the cheating. And so with Karen's question, her husband cheated on her, left, has already moved on. How can I cope and move on from the hurt? I want to talk about two different aspects of her question. The first one is, how do you deal with the hurt of cheating? Okay. And here's my favorite expert on cheating. I don't consider myself an expert on cheating. I consider that something in the past. I have strong opinions about what to do to move on from hurt, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But I want to talk and share with you some of the leading research from one of the leading experts. She's also a fellow Audible original author. Her name is Esther Perel. She's given a legendary TED Talk about cheating. She's a therapist, and she literally is the foremost expert on affairs. And she has a very interesting topic, because what happens when somebody cheats on you is it is only natural for you to make it all about you, right? Because you're the one that was rejected. You're the one that's hurt. And I found her theory about cheating in most cases to be really resonant for me. And certainly in situations where somebody has cheated on me or somebody has dumped me, and the next day suddenly they're in a big committed relationship with somebody else, and I didn't know if they cheated, but it sure seemed kind of strange. This is a really interesting point of view that might help you distance yourself from the fact that when you're rejected, it becomes so damn personal. Here's her quote: "When we seek the gaze of another, it isn't always our partner that we are turning away from, but the person that we have ourselves become." And so in many cases, the person that is cheating, it's not about you. There's so much self-loathing in who they've become in this phase of their life that they're seeking an escape from it, that they're seeking to rediscover a part of themselves that they feel that they have lost. And it isn't so much that they're looking for another person, it's that they're looking for another part of themselves. And look, that doesn't make the hurt go away. It doesn't justify what happened, but it certainly can help you understand why it might have happened without bludgeoning yourself in the head. And of course, it's very common to then go, well, why wasn't I enough? Why couldn't I have provided that? Why didn't they turn into the relationship to try to fix themselves, to try to find themselves? Why did they turn out of the relationship? You know, that's not for you to necessarily answer. That is for the person that cheated on you to figure out for themselves. But here's what you need to answer. What you need to answer, because the thing that I think a lot of us try to do when something like this happens is we go, screw them, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, and now watch me go on the revenge diet and let me prove to you what you're missing. And that is something that does work for some people, but I don't want you to move past the lesson as you try to solve the hurt. You know what I'm saying? There is a lesson in it for you. And the lesson is this: in almost every single case, even if you felt blindsided, in almost every single case, there were signs. There were signs that your partner was pulling away. There were signs that your partner was becoming disengaged. There were signs where you didn't feel connected. And what you need to do for your own healing is you need to take a look in the mirror and you need to find, what do I say? The message in the mess. You need to go back and realize that 6 months ago when you were on a walk with your girlfriend, you were saying, you know, my husband's gotten really distant. 9 months ago, you were kind of feeling that spidey sense about the text messages and about the way that the phone habits had changed. You know, that there were things where your wisdom was kicking up, where you were feeling that things were distant, that you knew that something was up, and you probably didn't say anything. And if you asked to go to therapy and your partner brushed you aside, you didn't push the issue. That is the message in the mess for you, that you weren't blindsided, that what happened is that you started to realize that something was off and you didn't do everything you could have done. And what you need to do to start to heal is you got to accept responsibility and learn the message in the mess so that you don't make that mistake again. Because you knew your wisdom was right, your intuition was right. And so in the next relationship, you got to carry that wisdom and that courage to speak up and the desire to work on your relationship forward into the next relationship. What I don't want you to carry into the next relationship is a lack of trust. because that's not fair to the new person. You don't want to board a flight with old baggage. You know what I'm saying? When that new relationship takes off, you better not have a carry-on with you. You better be ready to roll. But take the message from the last one with you, which means step into the relationship, trust, but pay attention to what your body's telling you. And have the courage and the bravery to push for connection and to work through your issues the second that you sniff out that something's going on. Now, here are 2 top strategies based on Esther's research for what you need to do if you've been cheated on. And, you know, this woman has worked with tens of thousands of people around the world. She's probably spoken to hundreds of thousands of them. So listen up. First, it is essential when you're facing this kind of rejection that you do things that bring back a sense of self-worth. So if you lost yourself in this marriage, if everything was about your husband or your wife and you don't even know who you are, if you stopped painting, if you stopped decorating, if you stopped pursuing your degree, if you stopped seeing your friends, if you stopped professional dancing, if you stopped writing that novel, if you stopped going to yoga, if you stopped being a vegan, like whatever it may be, it is so important for you to figure out how do you do things that bring back your self-worth, the things that really fuel you up. It's also really important that you surround yourself with family and friends. This is not a time to isolate yourself. This is not a time to sit on Instagram and Facebook and read tons of articles online about cheating spouses. This is a time to go inward and build up your self-love, build up things that give you a sense of self-worth. And here's the final thing. You have to stop yourself from stalking your ex and his new person online. You have to. Because if you continue to follow them and you spy on their life and you swoop in on Instagram stories and you check out what's going on Facebook and you bring them up in conversations, guess what? This is now death by 1,000 cuts. It's literally like, every time you look. So stop it. You have full control over who you follow online and what you look at online, so knock it off. Your new life is not in the rearview mirror, and it's not in your ex's or his or hers new lovers' social media feeds. Your new life is ahead of you. And so here are some other things that I want you to also realize. In some ways, I do love the idea of a revenge diet. You know, I'm a very positive person, but if you can use the hurt as motivation to get in the best shape of your life, if you can use the hurt as motivation to go back to school, if you can use the hurt as motivation to make yourself better, brother, sister, get going with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to use it like revenge, dig it back on them. I want you to use it as motivation to break free of the trap that you're in and become your best self. Now, I said that there were 2 things, Karen, about when your spouse cheats on you, moves on, and has a whole new life. How do you move on from the hurt? The hurt both from the spouse cheating, but also the hurt in that they got a new life and you're stuck in the old one. And if he moved out, guess what? You're still in the house. And so, number 1, you have to realize, as much as this sucks, good riddance. I know that you wish that your family was together. I know you wish that this hurt wasn't here, but honest to God, good riddance. If somebody was this unhappy with you, you don't want to be with them. If somebody was unwilling to work out their stuff with you, you don't want to be with them. And it may not feel like a gift right now, but trust me when I tell you, a year from now, 2 years from now, when you are in your new life, that is a full expression of you. When you are with a new person that sees the real you and brings out the best in you, you will look back and say, thank God, thank you, next. What's that Ariana Grande song? Thank you, next. And you have to have that attitude. You have to believe that something better is coming. You have to believe that the life without this person as your primary partner is a better life for you. Thank you, next. You have to block them on social media. Thank you, next. You have to block their new person on social media. Thank you, next. This is, of course, if they're triggering you. If you can have a transformed relationship like Gwyneth Paltrow, where you get married and you take your ex with you on your honeymoon and you're all amazing friends because you're adults about the fact that you're no longer in love, that's fantastic. But for a lot of people, that doesn't work. For a lot of people, there's a lot of emotional wreckage. And so here's a couple things I want you to do. First of all, you have to go through your house and you have to remove every environmental trigger that makes you sad, that makes you pissed, that makes you remember the hurt. Get rid of it. Put it in the box if you have kids, stick it in the basement, get it to your, like whatever, get rid of it. You need to make your old house together your new house on your own. The second thing that I want to say is that visualization is key. You have to remember and accept the fact the relationship's over. He or she, they're not coming back. So stop thinking about it, okay? This is where you need a mindset reset. Number 2, you got to empty your cup. You know, this is full of my turmeric coffee right now, so I'm not going to pour it out. But you got to empty your cup. It's not about the glass being half full or half empty. It's about realizing that at any moment in time, you can empty this sucker out and fill it out with whatever you want. And you want to fill it up with things that lift your self-worth. You want to create your home to be an expression of you, not the wreckage of the old thing that the spouse left. Visualization is super important. We covered this in Mindset Reset. It's video number 1. If you go to YouTube, there's a playlist for Mindset Reset. Watch video number 1. You want to visualize, what does your life look like for 2 years from now? Where are you traveling to? Who are you hanging out with? What do you look like? Visualize yourself happy. Let yourself feel it. Do that every day and it will start to shift your RAS, the reticular activity, something network, I can't remember that, RAS. It's the fabric in your brain that helps you filter out the world and you can change what it looks for. And if you visualize a happier life, your own brain will start to help you achieve it. Really important if you're co-parenting with this person, you got to make sure you have backup plans for how you're going to respond if they say something that triggers you, period. You cannot let yourself get triggered emotionally. That's the old life, not the new life. And finally, here's some research. This comes from the University of Missouri, okay? And this is how do you get over somebody? And this is based on science, and it works. And it's not going to sound like the positive Mel Robbins style coaching, but I love science-backed strategies, and I want you to get over your hurt, so listen up. They wanted to know at the University of Missouri, how do you get over an ex if you're struggling to move on? They gave people 3 different things to try out. First of all, negative reappraisal. Come up with 1 or 2 things about your ex that annoyed the hell out of you. They chomped on their food. They drank too much and fell asleep in the couch. They were always out 4 nights a week and never invited you to do things. They missed your birthday the last 3, like something that really annoys you, okay? And I want you to focus on the unappealing traits of them. You could also try love reappraisal. That's the second strategy, where participants were asked to accept their feelings and read statements of affirmation like, it's okay to love somebody I'm no longer with. And finally, distraction. The second you think of your ex, distract your thoughts. Check it out. Of negative reappraisal, think of something annoying. Positive love appraisal, think of something positive. Or distract yourself. You know what actually worked, hands down, is thinking of something negative. So if you're really struggling with getting over your ex, what I want you to do is come up with 1 or 2 things that really annoyed you about them. And the second you catch yourself in the hurt and I wish they'd come back and I miss my old life, which is normal. You're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. God, I hated how they chewed with their mouth open. Boy, I couldn't stand how they were out 3 nights a week. Thank you, next. And based on the science, that is the most effective way to reprogram your mind to no longer be desperate for them to come back. Now, focusing on these negative aspects, it's going to cause a short-term decrease in your mood, but that doesn't last long. And over time, what happens when you use negative reappraisal strategies is that you slowly but surely stop thinking about your exes as often and you stop torturing yourself. So, Beth says, I thank my husband's new wife for giving me a new life. Persephone blocked her cheating ex on social media. Julia says, I've been cheated on and after 3 years, I still can't seem to get over it. So Julia, you got to stop making it about you. You got to realize that your ex was not happy with you and you weren't happy with your ex either. And you need to try the negative reappraisal strategy. Come up with one thing. This is based on the University of Missouri. Come up with one thing, Julie, that really annoyed you. And when you can't get over it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, think about that one thing and then say thank you next. Thank God he's gone. Thank God he's gone. This also tells me, if you can't get over it, that you have not fully built a new life yet. It's going to take time, but you have to believe that a new life is better than the old one, and you got to start focusing your attention forward on building it. You got it, Julie? All right. I think that is it. If you have any questions that you want, hold on a sec. Denise said, all of the things you just listed that we use to do that we love, I stopped doing in my relationship. See, there she goes. She's recognizing the sign. Here's what I want you to know. If at any moment you have a question, you think, gosh, I wish I could ask Mel this, you can. Go to social media. We're on social media all day long. Tag me in your post. Use the hashtag AskMel and submit a question to me. And here's one thing about it. The more detail, the better. And even better, if you want to upload a video to YouTube and tag us in it, I might even use it in one of these videos. Give me a lot of detail about what you're going through. I will put my effort into answering your question. I will research it. I will give you the science-backed strategies, and together we will help you move on. Erin posted that after yesterday's coffee talk, she started networking for a job today and booked a coffee date. Go, Erin. See, this is all about you getting the pep talk, the motivation, the inspiration, and most importantly, the tools that you need to change how you think, to change the little things that you're doing so that you can get what you want out of life. And that's why I'm here every weekday with Coffee Talk. I'm Mel Robbins. In case nobody else tells you that they love you, I want to be the person that tells you today that I love you, and I believe in your ability to change your life for the better. I do. And I believe in your ability to make the small things happen that make the big things come true. And I believe in your ability to change how you think, because when you start changing how you think, you will change your life, because we live upstairs. If you can't move on from an ex, it's because you're upstairs thinking about your ex. And you need to get out of right up here. You need to change the way that you're thinking about it. And you start taking different actions so you can move on and build that new life that you deserve. All right, tomorrow we're going to have another Ask Mel. So if you have a question, by all means, ask away. And we'll be coming live to you probably around 11 a.m. Eastern from a studio space where we are going to be filming a bunch of cool new videos just for you. Our team has been busy working on these amazing new videos on all kinds of killer topics. Cannot wait to release these next month, but we'll take you to the studio where we're filming them tomorrow, and I'll see you there.